I've been working on a project these past few months, and it's for school. Right now, I'm doing a master's degree in visual arts in Switzerland. And in a couple of days, my class and the second year's class, we're having an exhibition here to present our projects. The thing is that it's the middle of the year, and my project is not quite finished yet, or developed to a great extent. I consider it to be still in the research state. In the beginning, it was supposed to be this. A photography work, something a little documentary, something I'm used to doing. But after a while, it turned into this. There's still an ice piece missing here. That's a freezer with fiberglass and epoxy pieces around it. Let me explain. I wanted to work on this glacier we have in Switzerland. It's the Rône Glacier. Right now, it's pretty much dying. It's losing 10 meters of length each year. That's about 32 feet for you Americans. When this glacier melts, it ends its route in the Mediterranean Sea, close to Marseille, France. And so with my class, we went to both those places, the glacier and then the sea. And while I was in Marseille, I spent time exploring this little building here, the Marégraphe. This thing measures level 0 meters on Earth, well, at least in Europe, and it measures it in the Mediterranean Sea. When the glacier finally comes to die, I was fascinated by all these measurements. The path the glacier makes from 2,440 meters high all the way to 0 meters. And the other measurement was that it loses 10 meters of ice per year. I felt that there was something important here, something difficult to understand. Those 10 meters don't seem to be precise in my mind. So to help make it precise and help measure this loss of 10 meters, I created a standard meter. Usually standard meters are made out of a very stable metal, so the length stays exactly the same always. My idea here was to create a standard meter out of ice and put it right here. The water would come from the Rhone River, so straight from the glacier. This thing talks about the fragility of the glacier, and at the same time about the loss of this ice that's gonna be right here, because this thing is gonna melt, inevitably. But I created something else, the freezer and the fiberglass panel. On the actual glacier, people are trying to save it with huge white plastic tarps, and this is what I wanted to represent here with the fiberglass panels. This sort of contradictory approach of using huge amounts of plastic to save nature. Here I represented it with fiberglass and epoxy. These tarps cover the ice that's underneath it and try to artificially preserve the glacier from melting. And that's where the freezer comes into play. This sort of big pedestal is a freezer, opened from above. This surface here will maintain the standard meter made out of ice alive by freezing it from underneath. Well, sort of, because it's gonna melt a little. So all of this effort to show that it is inevitable. There's no saving the planet with these techniques. There's another discussion humanity has to have. What we're doing and have been doing are temporary fixes that are, quite frankly, a bit of a joke. I'm showing the problem by doing the problem. There's more to the explanation of this piece, but that's for after my exam presentation, which is next week. So to conclude, maybe I'll say this. Absurdity channels our efforts into an absurd direction.